Welcome back. Thank you for staying with eNCA. Now, Eskom's board says there is no investigation into acting CEO Calib Cassim regarding a 250 million rand security contract. Media reports claimed Cassim was being investigated for his alleged role in the contract with Fidelity. The Special Investigating Unit says investigations into the contract are ongoing, while the utility maintains the contract is above board. Sindiswa Changuion from the Association of Private Security Owners of South Africa joins me now to discuss this further with us. Sindiswa, thank you very much for your time here on eNCA. Just first of all, maybe our first problem in South Africa is that so many of our very strategic positions, such as the CEO of a utilities like Eskom, are in acting positions.
Thank you for giving us an opportunity to actually discuss the matter with you. I think as Tapsosa, I can clearly state that we are vindicated in terms of this particular entire process that has been happening within Eskom, because for the longest of time we have brought up this issue and involved a lot of stakeholders in terms of being able to understand exactly the process that had actually transpired that led to the decision that was taken. So Eskom, as a responsible corporate that is answerable to the public, such things needed to be actually taken to board.
And I mean, to look at it, for instance, Sindiswa, there was another security company that is now alleging, obviously through the newspaper reports that we saw on Sunday, that is now alleging that the acting head of security at Eskom made them come up with some sort of contract for security at the utility, and then suddenly the contract went to Fidelity.
So there are speculations, and there has been those type of speculations in the industry in terms of the matter, how it was actually managed. I am not at liberty to actually perhaps maybe go into the intricate details of that entity that made that particular allegation. What I can be able to actually tell you is that in terms of the process and how it actually happened and what transpired therefore, and the way it was made to be a very urgent process that had to be undertaken under an auspices of some investigation that actually took place. And the money that is actually involved in terms of procuring whatever that needed to be procured, based on that report, we looked at it and thought that the process itself has a sinister undertaking in terms of how the thing unfolded in the first place. So what we were asking for as Tapsosa was that we needed to actually see some accountability with regards to that, and some transparency in terms of the process that has been undertaken. And what is unraveling now, it actually indicates that we were right after all, that the whole process itself was not really above board. Now, the fact that the SIU and other stakeholders are actually taking this into cognizance and they are really drilling down into the matter, we really hope that these type of investigations and whoever that is actually responsible in terms of this entire process and the entire food chain in terms of how it happened needs to be brought to book.
Do you believe Eskom when they say that there in fact isn't an investigation against their acting CEO, but at the same time they did, for instance, put on precautionary leave its acting head of security, Ms. Pillay? About the same, seemingly about the same contract, if the SIU is joining the dots that way?
Look, you know, we also welcomed, I mean, at the time when we heard the news that Eskom has decided to do something by placing its head of security under suspension pending an investigation. we know that perhaps maybe in terms of the entire process that it was not a one-man's process, it was not a one-man show in terms of being able to get or pull through whatever that was supposed to be pulled through at the time of entering into this particular agreement with the so-called provider. So there was other people as well that we think that were part of this whole process, whether it relates to the CEO or whether it relates to whoever it is that is involved. We believe that it is time that we actually get to a point where we actually we need to understand exactly what transpired. But at the same time, we need to be able to be in a position where we do get some accountability. Because after all, this is a public entity. This is taxpayers' money. And if we do not demand accountability and also being able to bestow our confidence on people that are holding public positions in senior management, so how are we going to be able to progress as a country?
And just lastly, Sindiswa, do you also believe that the former CEO, Andre Tereta, should be added to the investigation into this contract?
Look, Masiho, when we spoke about this matter, in fact, when we actually started, if I can be able to take you back a little bit, is that there's a number of people within Eskom that we raised an alarm to, including the CEO, and indicated and requested that there be some intervention in terms of being able to look into this particular matter. And the fact that we're actually met with a nonchalant attitude actually indicates that, there was more than one person that has been involved in this particular process. And therefore, whether it involved the former CEO or it involves the current CEO, what we are saying is that there should be accountability. And therefore, if Andre Tereta has been mentioned that he was part and parcel of certain processes and in which he was as the CEO of the time, then I think he needs to be able to account as well, like any other person that has to account with regards to this particular matter.
Sindiswa, I know I said this the last question. Just answer with a yes or no. As private security owners of South Africa, have you heard from any of your members that you're expected to pay bribes to look after state utilities? Ever? When there's a tender that goes out, is that what's on offer?
No,
Okay.
no, not
right.
in terms of the information that I would have offhand. No.
All right, thank you. I just needed to know that because that's the imagination sometimes that South Africans would have. Sindiswa Changuion from the Association of Private Security Owners of South Africa. Still to come.